Hello there, my name's Owen Bastable and I am a trainer with Project React. Thanks for checking out this video. This video is designed for PBIS teams, school administrators, or others that might be leading professional development in a school. Today I'll be giving you some tips on how to use elements of culture. So first of all, I just wanted to review what elements of culture is. It is an activity that takes about 30 minutes, and it helps raise awareness of how individual culture, school culture, shapes the norms of a school, and how there may be differences in how educators, students, parents define and view norms. So oftentimes schools use it right before they're going to do some work around school-wide expectations. For example, reviewing the behavioral matrix with the staff. They might have, you might be a good time to do this activity at the beginning of the school year. You have here also a one-page review with some links with some tips that I will cover in part in this video, but you can also go into more depth on the right side. There's a one-pager that I'll provide you with. So here's the elements of culture activity that hopefully you've used this before. This will be a review. On the left side are the elements of culture themselves, which I would encourage you to adapt and fit for your school. So you can use the ones that are provided here, but oftentimes schools will change the language to make it fit for their school and for their staff. And then on top are how these things, elements of culture, have changed over time. So norms growing up, norms now, our school norms, how these may be different for the families and students we work with, and how these differences may create conflict. So one tip I would say is important is to do this yourselves first as coaches or as school administrators and have an example ready to go. So this is one that I've created from doing this activity several times, and I like to share it. So I use of profanity is the one that I've chosen, and I go across and walk the staff through what it looks like for me, so they have a really explicit, clear example to work with. Some other things you might think about is how to customize this for your school. And also where you would do this. So oftentimes it's been, when I've done it, it's been in a staff meeting, but it might be during some professional development that you're offering to your school. And then you might think about how you might take the matrix itself and match it to your school community to customize it to either information you have about your school climate or some stuff that you want to explore with your staff. So let me show you how this might look from an example that's been changed in a few areas. So the matrix itself looks the same, but on the left side you see down below here there's a different box added for a response to insults that was identified for example for this school from discipline data that showed that this was an area that needed some work. And then up above you can see given all of the changes that we're all experiencing with COVID-19, that this is a matrix that actually helps staff explore how norms may be different from last year to this year, with staff returning to very different schools in some cases with the advent of COVID-19. And then you may also use school data to identify vulnerable decision points or areas of disproportionality where specific student groups may have more referrals than others for specific types of behaviors. And so you might want to explore that as well using the elements of culture activity. So when you've done when you've asked your staff to complete the matrix, and that usually takes between 15 to 20 minutes, and I'd recommend doing that in small groups if you're at a staff meeting or in professional development by subject group or by grade level, but basically colleagues that are with each other a lot is preferred than folks they don't know as well in the school. And then when they've completed it, giving them about 10 minutes or so to review how these types of discussion questions related to the elements of culture. And this is where you really can dig in and try to understand staff perceptions of their own norms and how norms may differ from the students that you serve at your school. And you can also adapt and change these as needed. So I'd like to wrap up with just providing you with some additional resources to go to. On the left side of the screen is Elements of Culture Review, which is just a one-pager that we put together with some links that will help you get started with this activity or use it again if you've done it before. And then on the right is a very detailed step-by-step description, which will look more like the other video that I'll create, which is basically here's how you do it in real time. So if you have any other questions, my contact is down below, or you could reach out to anybody else on the Project React team. Thanks so much for taking the time to take a look at this, and we look forward to hearing how it goes for you and for your school.